Hello and welcome to Easy Segment. Today, you are going to learn how to automatically track any phone and email link clicks as an event in Google Analytics 4. Usually, any contact link clicks would be considered a valuable action for your or your client's business. So in this video, we will take a look at an easy way how to monitor all contact links on your website with the help of Google Tag Manager. Before we dive into Google Tag Manager setup, let's quickly take a look at the link structure. Let's inspect the phone number link first. So right-click on the link and check Inspect. You will see HTML structure for that link. And as you can see, it differs from a normal URL link that leads to another page. So these kind of links contain a special parameter, which is tel, column, and your phone number. So basically this parameter tells the system that when this link is clicked, call should be initiated. So if I click on that, you can see a special prompt is shown asking if I want to start a call for this number. And the same way for the emails. So if you inspect that, again right click and inspect, you will see that those links contain special attribute as well. So you can see mailto and colon and the email. So when I click on that link, usually a software that can send emails will be opened. And since those two parameters are used only in links that contain email or phone number, we will use that as a condition in our trigger to send a Google Analytics event. Now let's go through the setup. Open your Google Tag Manager container, go to Triggers section, and create a new trigger. From Trigger Configuration, select Click All Elements, and under the trigger type, select Some Clicks, and from the first dropdown, select Click Element. The match type we are interested in is Matches CSS Selector, and here you can copy this value. You can copy that from the video description or from the linked blog article. So what we are doing here is we are listening for clicks on any element that contain tel or mailto values in the href attribute. So basically, if a user clicks on any link that has href parameter with given values, this trigger will be fired. A CSS selector here is just a method of how we can tell GTM which elements are we interested in. So again, if we go back to our example page and take a look at HTML markup, we can see our links have mailto and tel attributes, and it is available under the href attribute. So only thing we are telling GTM is to target these links that contain this tel value and this mailto value. If you want to learn more about CSS selectors and how they work, you can check MDN article in the description, or you can check also my blog post on CSS selectors in Google Tag Manager. At the moment, you can just copy-paste same value for CSS selector and proceed with the setup. Give your trigger a descriptive name and save it. Next, we are going to create a Google Analytics 4 event tag. So go to Tags section and create a new one. From Tag Configuration, select Google Analytics GA4 Event. Select your configuration tag. If you have installed Google Analytics 4 within Google Tag Manager, you should have that available from the dropdown. In case you don't have it, please check a link in the description on how to do that in Google Tag Manager. Next, enter your event name that will be visible in GA4 reports. So I will use for my example contact link click. You can use any other value that makes more sense for your use case. Next, click on event parameters and add a new one. This is where we can pass additional data about clicked link. For example, if you would like to see exact phone numbers and emails that were clicked on your website, you should add them to event parameters. And this is exactly what I am going to do now. As a parameter name, I will use a link text Normally, if you add any custom parameter names, you would need to create a custom dimension in Google Analytics 4 interface. But since I'm using a default parameter, I don't have to create a custom dimension for that. So all you need to do if you want to track clicked values, you just enter link text here, the same way as I did. And as a value, we'll provide a default variable called click URL. You can select a variable by clicking on this plus sign near the field, or just type double curly brackets and it will show you an options that you can select from. Pick click URL. We are using here click URL instead of click text, since click text may contain some other information rather than the phone number or exact email address. So with the click URL, we are certain that we will have our phone number or email contained in that value. If you can't find click URL variable here, you can click on the plus sign and then find built-ins and double check if click URL is enabled. If it's not, just click on it and it will select this variable. So the last thing we need to do is to add a trigger. So let's click on that and select a trigger that we have just created. Click contact links. Give your tag a descriptive name. And now you can save it. Now let's enable preview mode to check if our setup works as expected. You can click on the preview button on the top right corner. Make sure you're entering the page that has your phone number or email links and click connect. Now let's click on the first phone number. Then go to Tag Assistant tab. On the left side, find click event. You should see tags fired should be our GA4 tag, which in our case was GA4 contact link clicks. If you click on that, you should see information about your URL. So by default, we see variable names here. So we have a value as click URL. If you select values on the right top corner, you should see exact phone number that we have just clicked. So it is 123 1234. So this is the same that we have here. Let's click on another one. Let's click on this one. Go back to Tag Assistant. Again, check click event. Click on our tag. Again, we see exact value that we have clicked. So everything that we have in click URL or in the href parameter. Let's go back and try clicking on the email. So let's click on the first email, then go back to Tag Assistant, find click event. We can see this mail to and us@easysegment.com. Let's click on another one to check if it tracks the second as well. Find click event. Again, open the tag. We can see UK@easysegment, which means it works as we would expect. We can also open a Google Analytics 4 to double check if the values are passed through. In your Google Analytics account, go to admin section, which is on the bottom left corner, and select debug view. If you're debugging your events using GTM debug and preview, then you would see all the events collected from your browser. So let's take a look if we see contact link events. So as you can see, we have all of them in our timeline. Let's check the first one that we have clicked. If you click on that, you should see additional parameters. And here you should find link text, and it should be the same value as we have clicked on the website. The same way you can click on other events to double check if all of the emails and phone numbers are properly tracked. Based on debug view, you can make sure that all of the events are correctly tracked and being received by GA4. When you're happy by the outcome, all you need to do is to publish your container and start collecting events. Last thing that you could check is how to find those events later in GA4 reports. Let's go back to GA4. So if you would like to see not only event names, but also the values that were clicked on your website, you should create a custom exploration. You can find that on the left side by clicking on Explore. And let's create a new exploration. Note that if you have published GTM container just now, you will have to wait a day or two before any historical data will be visible in the exploration report. And what you want to do here is select the dimensions that you want to see. So let's pick event name and link text. So click on this plus sign near dimensions field, search for event name, select first one, and then search for the link text. Select this one, and then click on import. Then for the metrics, it depends what you want to see, total amount of events or number of users who have clicked the link. So again, click on the plus sign. Let's add both of them. I will select total users, but as I said, you can pick any other metrics that you would like to see in the report. And then I will search for total events. The metric for total event count will be event count. So let's pick that. And again, click import. Now under tab settings, I'll scroll down to the filters, click on that and select event name as a filter. We will match it as contains and enter event name that you have used for GA4 event. In my case, it was contact link click and click apply. Then you only need to add those dimensions and metrics to your report view. So just double click on event name, double click on link text and on the metrics as well. So as I mentioned earlier, this data will not be available right away. You will have to wait a day or two before information will be visible here. But in general, it should be clear how to display that information and split that per clicked text as well. As a final note, remember that this approach would work only for the links that contain tell, or mailto. So if for some reason you are using different links for the phone or email, those will not be tracked unless those parameters are available here. In that case, you should use a different method or a different CSS selector to trigger event on such actions. And that's it. I hope you liked it and consider subscribing to the channel if you would like to see more tips on Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager in the future. See you soon.